public transport? Is that easy to use?
In my opinion, it's quite easy to use because there are plenty of buses going around the city, from the suburb to the center. Of course, use it. In the pedestrian historic center, you can also find a lot of small electric buses going around going along this street, the narrow streets of Florence. Basic bus ticket costs €1.20 and is valid for 90 minutes. So around 1 hour and 30 minutes. So from the moment you stamp it on the bus. So you can buy bus tickets everywhere, at tobacconists, newsagents, kiosks, in bus tickets centers, and even on the bus, but from the driver. But it costs a bit more, €2 instead of one. So it's better to buy not on board.
Okay, so get your tickets before?
Yeah, before going on the bus.
When we was coming in the taxi, we saw loads of mopeds.
Lot of mopeds.
Would you say that'd be a good idea for a tourist, or should they not bother with a moped?
Well, you can even hire a moped, yes, if you, I think it's not so difficult. Of course, you must have a license, a sort of license, yeah. But it's not so difficult, and it's even if you want to hire a bike and have a ride around the city, it's nice, yes, even a moped. Well, I prefer taking a ride, a bike ride, but of course it's up to you.
It's a bit warm for a bike ride.
Yeah.
What is around the surrounding areas of Florence?
A lot of things, but in my opinion, in the surrounding area of Florence, first of all, you can admire the typical Tuscan landscape. This landscape, very famous landscape, featuring these gentle hills covered with vineyards, olive groves, intermixed with these castles, country cottages, country churches. So it's quite very nice. It's very nice to take a trip, to have a trip for instance, to the Chianti area, which is not so far from Florence. It's around 20 kilometers and less. And I have, for instance, a very nice wine tasting, for instance, in one of the farms, the wine farms or wine castles. In the countryside, situated in the countryside. Other nice places are Fiesole, for instance, Vinci, the birthplace of Leonardo, with an important Leonardo museum with all the machines designed by Leonardo. For instance, you can visit Medici villas. There are a lot of them in the area. Villa La Petraia, Villa Medici di Pratolino, the Villa di Castello. There are a lot of places, beautiful places in the area of Florence.
Good morning, sir.
Hi, I'm checking in for my flight.
Lovely. Business or pleasure?
Holiday.
And where will you be staying?
With my parents, they live over there.
Lovely. Travel insurance?
Oh, no thanks.
Have you got travel insurance?
No.
Checked to see if you need any vaccinations?
No.
Checked out the local laws?
No, look. Why do I need to know all this? I'm just staying with my parents.
Is either of your parents A local lawyer, or the chief of police, B, fabulously wealthy, C, the owner of a private plane with its own fully trained medical staff, or D, none of the above?
D?
Lovely. Are you a superhero and in fact immortal?
Things can go wrong on holiday abroad, even if you're staying with family. So check it out before you check in. Find out more at gov.uk/knowbeforeyougo.
You can follow me on Twitter @holiday_hut. Still to come on the travel show is travel news, and also the company that does tours of above the Thames by helicopter. But at the moment I'm talking about Florence. I went there because my wife won it as a prize wasn't too sure what to expect. It's a great city, especially as you're a vegan. As the joke goes, how do you know somebody's a vegan? Don't worry, they'll soon tell you. I might mention it once or twice. But we were surprised how much vegan options there were in such a relatively small city compared to, say, London. And we ate really well. Which brings us on to the bit I always ask when I talk to people about destinations, and that's food. I'm very keen on food, as you can probably tell. Is there a local dish, a local speciality?
Well, in my opinion, there are more than one.
Okay.
You know, in Italy we have a sort of food culture, very a love for food, a special love for food. And well, there are more than one, but in my opinion, the most famous one, especially in Italy, is the bistecca alla fiorentina, Florentine beef stick, which is a sort of large T-bone stick of chianina beef. Chianina is a kind of bread, cooked over hot charcoal and served quite rare. It's so famous, this dish, that in Italy the synonymous of beef stick is Fiorentina.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes, for instance, in Milan you can listen to people asking for a Fiorentina. It's a beef stick. Yeah.
Okay. Are there any annual events here?
There are various important events take place in Florence in the course of the year. First, there's a very long established and world-renowned classical music festival, the Maggio Musicale Fiorentino, while taking place especially in May and in June, July. The city plays a host to a number of important fashion fairs, Pitti Uomo, Pitti Bimbo and Pitti Filati, while introducing the collection of the men wear collection and children wear collections and so on. Otherwise, Florence stages numbers of traditional events, several traditional events, quite interesting. One of these is Calcio in Costume. It's a sort of a medieval form of soccer, played by people in period dress. And the Calcio in Costume is organized in sort of competition of 3 games between 4 teams of the 4 historic neighborhoods of the old town. For instance, the white team from Santo Spirito neighborhood, the red from Santa Maria Novella neighborhood, the green from San Giovanni neighborhood. San Giovanni is the baptistry, and the blue team from Santa Croce neighborhood. Every match is preceded by a procession of around 100 old costumes figured, figures of soldiers, musicians, flag throwers, noblemen. So it's quite interesting. It's a sort of a tourist, admiring, seeing that ceremony. Is like he feels like going through a time machine, you know. It's a sort of an immersive, so he is immersed into this world, Renaissance world. It's quite interesting. It's an experience, especially for Americans, you know, Australians. They are so far from here. Another important event, a traditional event, is the explosion of the cart. It's the cut is a sort of carriage, as a folkloric carriage, on Easter Sunday. On that morning, a sort of carriage, traditional folkloric carriage, pulled by two white oxen, processes through the town to the cathedral, the main door of the cathedral, and it stops there. And at 11 o'clock, when the Gloria is sung during the Mass, a sort of the fuse of a sort of a mechanical dove is lit and shoots along a wire to ignite, to switch the fireworks arranged over the carriage. Well, if the flight of the dove along this wire is successful, without stops and so, the Florentines will draw good auspices for the rest of the year. Well, last year was not so
Oh dear.
was not so good. But of course, well, we are in dire straits,
Okay. If a tourist only comes here for 3 nights, what should they do for the time they've got?
In a city as beautiful as Florence, it's quite difficult. It's hard to narrow down a list of sites you cannot miss. Basically, if you are in Florence for a couple or for 3 days, try to get to the following sites at the very least. First of all, you must see the Duomo, the cathedral, the bell tower and the baptistry, the area, the religious center of Florence. The cathedral dominates the skyline of Florence, the entire skyline of Florence. From every part of the city you always see the Duomo. The Duomo is, when it was completed in the 15th century, it was the largest religious building in Europe, and is still quite important because I think it's the fourth biggest church in the world, after, of course, St. Peter's in Rome, St. Paul's in London, and the Cathedral of Milan, the Duomo of Milan. So, as I told you, it was dedicated to Santa Maria del Fiore, Saint Mary of the Flowers, because the flower, the lily, is the symbol of Florence. So, the original construction, I think, began at the end of 13th century, but an impasse. The construction reached an impasse that lasted several decades, because nobody knew how to build a dome. At last, a Florentine architect, Filippo Brunelleschi, designed and built the dome, which is an extraordinary feat of engineering, because the dome was built without reinforcement, without scaffolding, and it supported itself by thanks this double vault. So it's quite particular. And after 600 years, the dome is still the largest dome built in brick and mortar in the world. The other monument you cannot miss is the baptistry, the oldest the oldest religious building, the oldest building in Florence because it dates back to the 7th century AD.